Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Ginny Barrow. We are making our way through the 21 qualities that leaders require to lead during this challenging environment. And I have my book open here with me because I've already made it through 8 of those qualities. And today I want to share with you quality number 9. And the reason why these qualities are important is that whether you're already showing up with these skills to your workplace and also in your life, or whether you need to assess using them and then consider the value and the benefits that it would bring to your life if you showed up as a leader with these qualities. These videos are a reminder of what the qualities are and how you can apply them in your life. Use them to the best that you can to advance in your career, to serve your teams, and help your company achieve all of its objectives. Without further ado, quality number 9 is authenticity. These days, we need our leaders to show up and lead with authenticity. Many of us have heard about bringing your authentic self to work. And one of my podcast guests, Sandy Stowe, who wrote the book Leading in Uncharted Waters, reminds us that leading with authenticity or bringing your whole self to work doesn't mean that you disregard other people or you disrespect other people because this is how you feel and this is what you're going to say. But leading with authenticity is about showing up fully to the workplace, meaning not leaving parts of you that could be kind and caring outside the door when you walk through the front doors of your office. I know many of us are going back to the office. Some of us are still hybrid. Some of us are going to be virtual. No, when I say walk through the doors, I really don't mean that literally. I mean it figuratively. When you are engaging with people at work and you're interacting with them, bring your entire self to work. Bring all of who you are to work. So how does that look? As a leader, when you are sharing information with your crew, sharing information with clients, sharing information with stakeholders, supply chain vendors, whomever you're speaking with. Express what is your concern. Express what are your desires and dreams and your vision for the company, for the team, for the department. And also express the challenges that you see ahead of you and how you can best move forward from your perspective. Ask them questions about how they see things moving forward, how they see a solution for the problem that you're facing. Authentically being you means also that when you are interacting with people, that you are candid and honest about what you are perceiving in them. Many of us want to be influential, and we also want to hone our executive presence. And it's very hard to do that if we're full of BS. And we can tell when somebody's full of BS. You can, I can, and everybody else around you can too. So when you're not being authentically you, when you see something and you don't call it out with compassion, you don't have to call it out in a rude manner. But when you see people struggling around you and you call them out and say, Ginny, I can tell you're struggling with this. What is going on? How can I help? If you play that you don't see what is happening, you're not being fully authentic, especially if you see what is happening. It's another issue if you don't, because that means that you probably need to work on your social awareness, looking around to notice the energy in the room and what is happening with people. But if you're self-aware and you are in some kind of interaction and you notice that something is not going right, being authentic means speaking your truth. Now, I tend to do this in my personal life as well as in business. And what it does is it allows me to get clarity. So one of the things we do as leaders also is that we make assumptions. We are going to assume something from the situation that we're experiencing, when in fact, the antidote to making assumptions and then making decisions based on those wrong assumptions is to validate your assumptions. So if you're having an interaction with someone and you are getting a sense that something is going on, when I use it personally and in my professional life, What it does is it helps me answer the questions that I have in my mind or the assumptions that I'm making so that I don't go down the wrong path. I think sometimes what stops us from being authentic is fear. Fear of what will people think of us? Will they criticize me? And what I've learned over the past 5 years as a full-time coach and career strategist and transformational speaker is that whenever I show up authentically to my audience and I share myself, my stories in the right context to serve them and to help them go from where they are to where they want to be, and I do it by being authentic, that's when I connect the most with my audience. When I began speaking, I remember that you want to be perfect, right? There's this perfectionism that most of us struggle with. And when you try to be perfect, it means you're not going to share stories that in your mind don't make you look perfect. Similarly, when you are in front of your team and you're trying to inspire and motivate them or get them excited about a project that you're going to be working on, if you only tell them about the successes of your career, they're not going to really see you as the human that you are. If you share with them a time when you were engaged in a project and you were excited about it and that it didn't go well, that the project failed, the people in that room will begin to see you like the human being that you are. Because guess what? We all have failures. And I don't like to call failures because I believe that if you learn from your failures, then it's a lesson versus a failure. But the truth is that perhaps you didn't get the outcomes that you wanted. So what that means to me is that as long as I show up and I share authentically what happened to me, I share my story of origin often, the challenges that I faced as I was ascending through the corporate ranks, the challenges that I faced when I wanted to get a promotion, or the challenges that I faced when I had a difficult client in the corporate world when I was working full time, doing that. When I do that, I connect to my audience. I let them know that I understand them. And people are influenced by you when they are understood by you. So in a way, by trying to be perfect and not show up authentically and share what has happened to you, instead of getting the results you want, which is to be influential, we end up having the opposite effect, which is that we land flat because no one can connect with us. They cannot relate to us as a person. And the reality is that we've had failures and we've had successes and we've had our anxieties and our concerns and worries. And so have the people that you are leading. As a parent during this time that we're living through, whether your child was at home, homeschooling the whole time last year, or whether it was a hybrid mode, you can relate to your employees as a parent if some of your employees have children. Use those authentic stories and situations and experiences to connect to your audience. And in this case, your audience could be an audience of one or an audience of 1,000 or hundreds of thousands of people. And that is quality number 9 from healing leadership. A healing leader is authentic. Have you experienced that you are being authentic in your interactions with your team? And if you have noticed that you're not, that perhaps you're pretending, I say this with love and compassion, if you're pretending to be perfect, notice the impact that it's having in your credibility and in building trust with your team. And if you notice that you perhaps need to work on your authenticity and showing up more authentically, then absolutely reach out to me at callwithginny.com. And if you notice that you are showing up authentically, kudos to you. Keep going at it and know that you are role modeling for your team, that this is a healthy vehicle for connection with people and to build the trust that you need to influence them to pursue the ideals and to achieve the goals of your organization and your department. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you want to watch the rest of these videos that are all being published weekly now, you can find them on my YouTube channel, Dr. Ginny Barrow, or you can go to my website at executivebound.com. I will see you soon.